everyone, so I'm trying something new here, going with voiceover. So this is my third video ever. See here, I'm diving here with my brother. West Palm Beach, we're kind of in the patches off West Palm Beach, which is it's a drift dive, so there's usually a slight current north, which allows you to not have to kick so much, even though I do kick a lot. But anyways, let's get to it. I'm in about 90-95 feet here. I come right on a yellowjack, not a great size. He's a bit squirrely, and I actually don't know what happened here, but I thought I had him lined up and I just missed. Yeah, not great. So moving on, not really happy about that. But see, there's a bunch of, like, I don't know, pork fish or whatever. Kind of cool. That's the nice thing about West Palm Beach is there's, you know, if there's not fish to shoot, there's always pretty cool stuff to look at. So whether it's nice coral or schools of fish, things like that, come upon a lot of that. So, I don't know, pretty neat. So like I said, I'm in about 90 feet. I like to hover around, I don't know, 75. That way I can still see lobster, but have a vantage point enough to where I can see other things. And also, you don't blow through your air as quick if you're not staying towards the bottom. So here, coming on, coming on another. Oh, this is a porgy actually. So kind of come in smooth, nothing, not too quick, and kind of gives me the shot there and whack them. So finally, I was a little, that first shot I took, I wasn't very happy about not landing that one, so kind of made up for it here, but not my best shooting day as far as you'll see the next one, but after that I did pretty well. So yeah, it's always tricky, kind of some of the fish getting the spear out and kind of getting them in the bag. I wear a bag, so I just kind of throw it in there. I don't really like to wear a stringer. Somehow I feel like it gives me more security. It's in a bag, even though it's there and bleeding and has a good scent. Yeah, here's my second not great move here. There's a couple of yellowjacks came on again, and yeah, I think I just took a rush longest shot and blew it. Moving on, come upon another yellowjack actually, and this guy looks like he's fairly territorial, kind of keeps going back and forth in the same area, and so I feel like I could kind of line him up a little bit better. You'll see I kind of take a conservative shot and hit him in the belly, which luckily doesn't affect any of the meat, any of the fillet. He goes nuts. Like, I try to swim up a little bit and he pulls me back down. These fish are so strong, like pound for pound, they are really, really strong fish. So I'm trying to kind of wrangle him in, and he's just going nuts. So, yeah. Finally, I do end up kind of getting him by the throat, and then kind of getting the spear out of him, getting him in the bag. My belly shot there, which actually turned out to be okay. Didn't affect any of the fillet, so that was nice. I think that's the end of the, well, not yet actually. So a big school of rainbow runners come in. Fortunately, they're all kind of small, and I'm kind of hesitant of whether I wanted to pull the trigger on one or not, but they weren't that big, so I decided to let them swim. Alright, so that was the end of my first dive. It was really only like a 38-minute dive. I kind of stayed too deep. So on this dive, same thing. It's kind of patches. We're drifting north. It's just slightly shallower, maybe in 85 feet here, and I kind of start to, I want to hover a little bit higher, and you know, the main goal is to try to get a black grouper. Grouper season ends in a couple days after this, January 1st. So I'm trying to see if I could kind of get lucky, but you never know. So on this drop, actually, as I descend, I kind of try to always get my gun ready. There's a good amount of like muttons, mutton snapper roaming around here, as well as some triggerfish, and you know, they were just, I think you'll find this the theme through the rest of this dive, this video, is like they're just like borderline, and so for the most part I don't like to pull the trigger at that point, and so I let most of them swim. But yeah, it was cool when you descend on a spot and it's just kind of fish everywhere. So you saw me do like 360s, like looking in a circle, because they were kind of all around. But yeah, don't end up pulling the trigger here. Maybe being a little bit too conservative. But yeah, same thing, hovering, you know, in maybe 70 feet, hovering at 70 feet and maybe 85 to the sand. Just kind of searching around, taking it all in. So you can see a mutton there in the distance. Once again, the recurring theme of this dive is like, just a little, just not quite the size I want, and so let him go. Even though the smaller muttons are much tastier than the ones that get really big. Here, oh, this is super cool. You can't even really see it. So this mutton, and I just basically fall down onto it. I'm not kicking at all. I'm just descending, but it's camouflaged and just sitting there, which you almost never see. Muttons do. Just usually they're always swimming around and going back and forth, but that one was just chilling. So I really was able to kind of line it up, get a good shot, stoned it actually. So I was pretty pumped about that. It was a good fish, perfect size that I like to eat too. So yeah, got that one in the bag. Swimming along, you can see some triggerfish. Okay, here come some rainbow runners. These ones are bigger, and like I said, I'm just hesitant whether or not I want. The last time I took one, I didn't really enjoy it, and so I don't know. I was back and forth in my mind, like, okay, shoot, don't shoot, and then you know, they end up the big ones kind of end up swimming away, and then as you can see here, a giant school of like smaller rainbow runners come in, and so at this point I'm like searching around, like, darn it, maybe I should have shot one of the bigger ones, but unfortunately they had scattered, and at this point I couldn't find them again, and swarmed by these small ones. Alright, here we're coming on. Yeah. Oh, I'm pointing out. So kind of really cool to see the population of hogfish has really come back. So here I'm just pointing out a really nice one. You can see there, nice big male that has the dark stripe on the top. But yeah, it's nice to always see these and point them out, even if there's fish that, you know, they're out of season, which they are. It's stopped November 1st. It's still nice to see those kind of bigger hogfish around. Moving on, come on, another, I think this is yellowjack here. Yeah, here he is, coming back and forth. Seems pretty friendly. Comes around. He comes right at me actually, and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't want to take that shot, but luckily he went broadside, and I was able to get him. He kind of swims high and like around, kind of. He got a little bit of my shooting line tangled up, which is always a problem. So you got to be careful with that. You know, and kind of getting that untangled when you're by yourself can be a bit tricky. But eventually, like I said, these fish are very strong, and so I end up wrangling them, getting them by the collar, and then I'm able to get this spear out. I try to brain them. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. You know, I'm certainly always worried about sharks, so I try to kind of get them in, get them wrangled in, get them by the throat, and get them in my bag as quick as possible. But this time, I don't know, I guess I just felt like braining them first. I think I had a lot more of my dive left, and so at this point I don't want to have fish squiggling in my bag. Sometimes that'll freak me out. I'll feel them like swimming in the bag, and then I think something's tugging it. So here, just a clip. So this triggerfish is good, but it's not a great size one, and so I line them up, and I just decide, you know what, taking, I don't know, like a 13-inch triggerfish, 14-inch triggerfish is not really worth it. So even though they do taste delicious, I do like them a lot. And the other problem is getting the spear out of triggerfish is a pain in the neck, but that's for another day. Here I point out another nice hogfish. I move on. It's another really nice big male. So, like I said, love seeing those big guys around. So this is, like I said, the moral of the story. Another kind of borderline mutton that I follow for a minute, and I decide better of it and let him swim. School of rainbow runners are back. These are all small, but still cool to see. I like seeing fish, especially ones that are kind of higher up in the water column, which is where these typically are. You won't find these usually down at the bottom of the reef. They're kind of more free swimming, like jacks and things like that. But yeah, all too small, and I'm not don't want to pull a trigger on one of these. Once again, mutton comes into the picture. Same old story. Probably like right at 18, which I'm gonna let him swim. Cool little turtle shows up. Actually, he's just chilling. Kind of surprised me. Just looked down and there he was. So another yellowjack comes in. This is actually a pretty big one. It's the biggest one I've shot this day. He gives me a pretty good little angle. Nail him. I think I kind of spined him because he didn't fight like the others, so I was able to just pull the rope and he kind of came right up. So I think I hit something on the spine there, which allowed me to gather him a lot quicker than those other two pretty good sized ones I had shot. And I don't know why, but for some reason I also decided to brain and actually bleed this one as well. Sometimes I don't like to do that because, like I said, when you're diving and you're carrying fish in the bag, you got the scent following you, and it's just an invitation for predators to give you some trouble when you don't need it. But yeah, there I am bleeding it there. And while I'm doing that, I'm scanning the horizon, seeing if I have any visitors. I'm pretty much by myself at this point, just kind of floating in the ocean. So, yeah, try to minimize my risk here. guy actually is, so finally get the spear out. It was a little bit tricky, but he was actually like too big for my bag, so I had to really force him in. You'll see like his tail keeps sticking out, and I'm like trying to angle him and twist him to get him to fit in there, and he just doesn't want to go. Their tails are very like bony, and they're not very easy to bend. So it's kind of like the head and the body I have to kind of bend to get in. But yeah, I kind of struggle with that. Little nurse shark there, just chilling. It's kind of cool. And then this little guy, it comes and like nips my head. So which always freaks you out when like something touches you don't expect. But yeah, there's some friendly triggerfish out there. So this is pretty cool. I see all this life, and actually if you look center screen a little bit higher, you'll see, I finally see my big grouper. He's right there. Unfortunately, I get a little closer and I notice it's a gag. I was hoping it'd be a black, but still, look at all this sea life. It's so cool. And then, you know, I chase him a little bit just to see if, yeah, maybe he could be a black, but no, it was definitely a gag. You can see him swim off there. So, fortunately, those are out of season here as well, so wouldn't have been able to shoot that, but it was big. It was probably like 30 pounds, I would say. And then, of course, when you get a lot of life like that, you get the predators show up. I think it looked like a bull shark. It could have been a big, decent sized lemon, but he was pretty pesky. Stayed around me quite a bit. I mean, obviously, I got dead fish in my bag, and that's a recipe for predators like the shark here. But yeah, he was a bit pesky. He stayed around a bit. And, you know, obviously, I'm always hesitant when they're kind of circling around me to pull the trigger on something. So, kind of just keep my eye on him, see what he's doing. Luckily, he's moving pretty chill. You know, he's not darting around or doing things that would really have me worried. But like I said, I mean, I'm here floating in the ocean by myself, so you know, I want to minimize my risk a bit. Yeah, he just won't go away. He followed me for about 5 minutes or so, maybe longer, but I really try to kick away from him, and then see what happens. So moving on, another mutton that's just like right there. But while I'm doing that, I do spot my first lobster. So I see that descend down, and you know, so I'm really a minimalist, so I really don't carry a lot of gear. I basically have a spear gun in a bag, and that's it. I don't have any extra crap. And so so I kind of want to tickle him out with my spear gun, and then hopefully try to grab him. But you know, you never know how that goes. And then I also, anytime you're kicking up dirt, there's that mutton that's probably good, but like I said, I'm just gonna focus on this lobster right now. But anytime you're kicking up dirt and things, it attracts fish. Sometimes the fish you want, sometimes the sharks you don't want. But I give it a good go here. This guy seems to be pretty stubborn. I know he's good. Caught a lot of lobsters, so I can kind of tell. But I go in one more time, and then I'm like, okay, screw this. There's an easy way and a hard way, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna have to pull this guy out. So reach in there. Grab them, do a quick check for eggs, no eggs, so it's good to go. So I'm able to throw them in the bag there. But yeah, pretty fun day. Had great visibility. I mean, like I said, I'm in 80, 85 feet. I have probably 65 feet of viz, maybe 70. So all in all, like a beautiful day. Was able to take home a few fish, which is always fun. I made some good sashimi, and I actually made some sushi with it, and really enjoyed. Cheers, have a good one.